참 개성 넘치게 하는 것 같은데요. 봉사활동이나 등산을 함께하는 것으로 시무식을 대신하는 것이 많이 있다고 합니다. 무엇인가 함께하며 한 해를 시작한다는 게 가장 중요한 의미겠지요. 가정이든 직장이든 교회이든 2015년 동역하는 기쁨이 가득한 그런 한 해가 되기를 바랍니다. C채널 매거진 굿데이, 오늘은 1월 2일 금요일입니다. 영화 반지의 제왕과 호빗은 많은 분들이 보셨을 것 같은데요. 영화나 책으로 보신 분들은 그 뛰어난 상상력에 감동을 하면서 시간 가는 줄 모르고 영화를 보고 책을 읽었던 경험이 있으실 겁니다. 이 영화의 원작자인 J.R.R. 톨킨의 신작이 더 호빗 파티가 나왔다고 하는데요. 기독교의 지혜가 가득하다고 하는 J.R.R. 톨킨의 반지의 제왕 시리즈 내용 지금부터 전해드리겠습니다.
As The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies hits theaters, it ends an entertainment series that was decades in the making. But a new book, The Hobbit Party, points out that entertainment is just a part of these Middle-earth movies and the J.R.R. Tolkien books they're based on.
Tolkien had more to offer than just a really good yarn.
According to co-author Jay Richards, they also portray an entire universe of moral, government, and economic systems. That's why it's subtitled The Vision of Freedom That Tolkien Got and the West Forgot. The evil, power-crazed Sauron came out of Tolkien's experience of witnessing the brutalities of fascism and Nazism in World War II and the communist cruelty that followed.
There's a theme throughout The Lord of the Rings of a concern for the centralization of power. I mean, the ring itself, the ring of power, that the good guys spend the entire story trying to get rid of, not trying to gain, this power to dominate the will of others.
While World War I vet Tolkien hated the senseless slaughter of war, he loved liberty even more, so his heroes constantly fought for it in The Lord of the Rings.
A day may come when the courage of men fails.
The good guys in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, they recognize that sometimes you need to fight, you need to be willing to die, and the cause in every case that they're willing to die for is freedom.
Tolkien said he was a hobbit in all but height, and the Shire where hobbits lived reflected not only his idyllic childhood hometown, but the way he thought society should run, a place of almost no laws and only a tiny bit of government. He admitted to his son he leaned towards anarchy and hated the idea of people lording it over other people.
Tolkien said famously, "It is the most improper job of any man to boss others, least of all those who seek the opportunity."
Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings as he watched Britain slide into a soft socialism. He was horrified the citizens of the Christian nations would give up their God-given liberty in exchange for security offered by all-powerful governments.
Would essentially be docile sheep guided by the shepherd.
He was hopeful art like his could shake them up and wake them up. As for economics, hippies dug The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings because they saw Tolkien as a cool anti-capitalist, and that creating creatures like the aristocratic Smaug was his way to show it. But Richard says Tolkien used the character to illustrate the absolute worst traits of a wealthy, non-investing, non-capitalist.
There you are, thief in the shadows.
Who sits atop literally a pile of gold that belongs to other people. This is not a critique of the capitalist or the entrepreneur. This is the critique of the miser who hoards his wealth rather than putting it at risk. That's what enterprise is about.
Tolkien portrayed prosperous worlds of robust capitalism and free trade at the end of both books.
A widening trade, not just between different sort of human populations or different cities, but actually interspecies trade between hobbits and dwarves and elves and men.
Gardener Sam personifies the world working at its best as he creates wealth with his hands and the future with his wife.
Puts together both our economic activity as creatures made as stewards in the image of God, to steward and to till and to keep the garden, and also to multiply, to have children.
The deeply Christian Tolkien intentionally used humble hobbits as heroes, a way to show that even the least of us deeply matters and can change our world for the better.
It only occurred to someone who had this vision that the creator of the universe could become incarnate as a man born of a woman in a stable in a humble village. It's only that kind of vision that I would think would lead someone to think to create heroes like hobbits.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Near the climax of Lord of the Rings, it's the humble servant Sam who literally bears Frodo like a cross and saves the world.
And I hope that that speaks to us as human beings, especially those of us that might think, well, who am I? What important position am I playing? Well, take some inspiration from Frodo and from Sam.
자, 이번 순서는 선교